Israel's economy is collapsing. Let's have a look at what's happening there.
Israel, once the high-flying startup nation, is now struggling to keep its economic boat from sinking. With funds drying up faster than the Negev desert and an economy that's hitting more bumps than a Tel Aviv street, many are asking, what on earth happened? In this video, we'll break down the key reasons behind Israel's recent financial freefall. If you want to check out all the facts we're mentioning, just head to the video description where we've included links to all the sources. Israel has officially taken the gold medal for being the most expensive country among OECD members, with a cost of living a whopping 38% above the average. Forget Paris or London. If you really...
You know what? This is like, if you have like a high cost of living, it seems like a good thing, because you imagine, oh, if you have a high cost of living, right? That means your income is really high. And that also means if you go somewhere abroad to travel, you're almost like a millionaire abroad. I mean, if I go to some countries with the euro here in Germany, of course I can spend like a lot of money with it because the currency is very strong, right? So you often expect, okay, if a high cost of living, it perhaps leads to like a high income. Now there's something funny happening also here in Germany, for example. So the cost of living is going up in Germany. Like, I remember if I was like eating outside a kebab, I would usually pay around like 4, sometimes 5 euros depending on the shop. Now I go there and I spend like 7 euros often. The income has at most increased by maybe like 5 or 10% or so. Like, some people earn like a tiny bit more, but anything else has increased way more than this tiny amount of extra income that some people are making, right? Same when it comes to apartments, where there was an apartment with a rent of, let's say, 700 euros with hot water and electricity all included. It's now up to 800. Some places even want already 900 for the same sort of space that you had like 10 plus years ago for 700 euros. So this is not always a good thing. So yeah.
Forget Paris or London. If you really want to empty your wallet, Tel Aviv's got you covered. This sharp rise has made Israel less of a Mediterranean dream and more of a financial nightmare. In short, the situation is spiraling, and the only thing growing faster than prices is public frustration.
Last weekend, Moody's, one of the 3 international credit rating agencies, downgraded Israel's credit rating from A1 to A2. Now, that's still investor grade, it's not junk, but it shows the strain that this war is putting on Israel's economy.
Foreign direct investment in Israel has recently taken a nosedive, especially in the high-tech sector, which, as we mentioned earlier, is currently failing like a malfunctioning app. In fact, high-tech investments plummeted by a whopping 68% in the first half of 2023 compared to the previous year. Now, sure, we can blame the global economy for some of this, but let's be honest. Israel's own political circus and economic instability have scared off foreign investors faster than you can say startup nation.
I mean, this is the same thing with every single product. Like, same when it comes to like famous people. If your image gets dirty and you're doing some stuff where people are like, oh, you're like hurting innocent people, you're doing this and this, or you have some sort of scandal, right? Like if a president has like a scandal, maybe he harassed a small girl or something. Like, this causes people to stay away from making business with such individuals, right? This is the same with like actors. If there's an accusation against a famous Hollywood actor because he abused someone, let's say, or something, then he will no longer get offers from movie studios to be part of a certain movie or something, right? This is the same with like if a country goes to war. I mean, we can compare this a bit with also Russia, right? Like, Russia used to trade with most, if not all, European countries, and now only a portion of the European countries is still trading with Russia almost like before, right? So if you lose partners to trade with and people look at you and you have like a very bad image, like you look like a criminal or something, and then there's this ICC warrant, right, with Netanyahu and all that. Of course, this leads to you to not seem trustworthy, and people look at you like, oh, you're an unstable individual, you have a dirty look, we're not going to do business with you. And this, of course, has some negative impact on the economy. And when you look at like Hollywood actors that have a scandal, it has an impact on their income as well that is very negative. So yeah, this is the thing. If you are making money from other people, you also need to look good to those other people, like a righteous individual or something, right?
It turns out when your country feels like it's on shaky ground, so do the investors.
Israel's power grid, which has largely switched to natural gas, still depends on coal to supply demand. The biggest supplier of coal to Israel is Colombia, which announced that it would suspend coal shipments to Israel as long as the genocide was ongoing. After Colombia, the next two biggest suppliers are South Africa and Russia. Without reliable and continuous electricity, Israel will no
Russia
longer
needs
be
it
able
for
to
itself.
pretend to be a developed economy.
It's not just Israel's high-tech sector that's feeling the pinch. Many industries are waving the white
War is
flag.
bad for business.
Take agriculture, for example. The war against Palestine has hit Israel's farmers harder than a drought. And the construction industry, let's just say it's not exactly building a bright future. Here's a jaw-dropping stat for you. Around 46,000 businesses have shut down in Israel since October 7th, and that number could balloon to 60,000 or more by the end of the year. It's like a game of dominoes, but with businesses. And spoiler alert, none of them are standing.
Wow.
Meanwhile, over at
Subhanallah.
Israel's most important port, Port of Eilat, things are, well, sinking. Yemen's Houthi movement has been blockading the port since 2023,
Yeah.
and in June 2024, the CEO officially waved the bankruptcy flag.
I totally forgot this, right? Because, yeah, there's also from the Houthi movement in Yemen, right? And I think Iran is also doing something there, right? Of course, like no ships can go through. Like the same situation was like in Ukraine, right? With the Black Sea there and stuff. I think this will last longer, maybe even till next year or beyond that. So the ports, they're gonna have like a long time issues like that. I don't think in the next month anything will be cleared there. No. It will continue. I think that like the only solution for Israel to fix the economy is literally a change of government, and there needs to be a peace now with Palestine. If they don't make peace with Palestine and change their leadership, I don't see any improvement going on there, even on this side, because they can always even talk to the people there, right? Like, okay, please, Houthis, we stopped this and that, we're peaceful now, can you actually clear the port or something? But this will only happen once they actually stop doing that, what they are doing. Like, this is just wrong. I mean, what do you expect? You're doing something bad and something bad comes back to you. Like everyone, they say, you get what you deserve, right? And this is what they are getting now.
Officially waved the bankruptcy flag. And if you thought things couldn't get worse, Yemen and
You reap
Iraq
what
have
you
been
sow,
targeting
right?
other ports that Israel could have used. These blockages have cut into Israel's port revenue big time, making them feel like a ship without a sail. But wait, there's more. Israel's tourism industry, once a cash cow and political tool, has been grounded.
'Cause it feels
Thanks to many
unsafe there.
airlines suspending flights last year, Israel's tourism numbers have nosedived.
Yeah.
And here's why that's a double whammy. Tourism not only pumps money into the economy, but Israel uses it to prop up Zionist settlements in Palestine. According to Israel's Central Bureau of Statistics, only about 180,000 tourists visited Israel in the last quarter of 2023,
Wow.
a sharp decline from the 930,000 who visited during the same period in 2022.
Subhanallah, like those numbers. So it was 930,000 tourists in a single year. And now, ever since this conflict, it's down to 180,000 tourists. This is like almost 10 times less. That's a huge drop.
930,000 who visited during the same period in
Yeah,
2022.
they are screwed and they
That's an
deserve it.
81.5% drop in just 1 year.
Change
Talk about
government,
a nosedive.
guys. Change
It's
government
clear
over there,
Israel's
please.
economy is in a free fall, and there's no travel agent to book a safe landing.
Tourism is dead for obvious reasons. And then hospitality sector, right? Because people don't necessarily like to go out these days with the mood and and the economic problems that they are facing.
Israel's economic growth is currently facing stagnation. While there were expectations of a comeback, the continued global uncertainties along with domestic policy mistakes have left the economy struggling with no hope. The government's focus on short-term political gains rather than solving systemic economic issues has led to a lack of confidence in the people of the government's ability to help the economy grow or restore it. The current government in Israel seems to be juggling priorities, but instead of focusing on the real economic fires, they're tossing breadcrumbs to a few select groups. Sure, increasing allowances for certain populations might win some votes, but it's like putting a band-aid on a leaky boat.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the bigger issues like skyrocketing living costs and a sluggish economy are being left to fester. Critics are quick to point out that these short-term fixes are like using duct tape on a cracked windshield.
Yeah, this is not like Switzerland. For example, if you go to Switzerland, you get so much money from your job and the living costs are so expensive. This is why I said at the beginning, some people think, oh, a higher living cost somewhere means you have more income. And if you, for example, let's say you're a foreigner, right? And you have like a weak currency, you go to a country with a high living cost and a high salary, like let's say Switzerland. Switzerland is a good example. You make a lot of money. And if you travel somewhere, you're there like a millionaire. So I give an example. If someone from Switzerland travels to Thailand, for example, right? And in Thailand, he spends money. He can buy a lot of stuff in Thailand, right? Because if you look like the currency level in Switzerland and you compare it to Thailand, you live like a king over there, literally, when you go over there. Because Switzerland, they have like a higher salary and income than we have in Germany even. Like, this is insane, right? But if the salary and the living costs, they don't go up together, your currency is not getting stronger, right? Because if people have more money and they spend more money in your currency, of course, it can have a positive impact, right? Because you are strong abroad with your currency, right? But in this case, it's just the living costs are going high, but the salaries are not increasing.
Temporary at best, disastrous at worst. If this approach keeps up, Israel's financial troubles may only get deeper, and those cracks will be harder to patch.
Yeah.
Ending the war could be Israel's best economic strategy, obviously.
Yes.
Israeli economist Yaakov Sheinin recently dropped a bombshell, pun intended. The war could cost Israel a whopping 120 billion US dollars, or about 20% of its GDP.
That's a lot.
To put that in perspective, their GDP was expected to grow at 3%.
No, it's done by
but thanks to the ongoing conflict, it's barely crawling at 1.5%. That's cutting the predicted growth in half. While what's happening in Palestine is the real tragedy that the whole world can see, it's also blowing a massive hole in Israel's own economy.
It's heartbreaking.
Even Israeli economists are waving the red flag, warning that the longer this war drags on, the harder it will be for Israel to bounce back financially. And let's be real, if they don't stop now, recovery might be a pipe dream. But here's where things get really interesting. Guess who's footing the bill for Israel's military actions? You guessed it, the U.S. taxpayer. Billions in aid are being funneled to fuel this conflict, while Israel's economy crumbles. In fact, Israel's financial collapse would be a good thing for the world. It might also force them to change course and pursue peace, which would be better for everyone involved.
May Allah protect the brothers and sisters in Palestine and stop this conflict. I mean, like, this is not good. Like, I'm always saying this, war is bad for business. And why is that? Because we are living in a global world. Like, we are no longer in medieval times where everyone lives in like our own bubble, basically, right? Where everyone is like independent, where there's a castle, around the castle are villages, the king and the kingdom gets provision from all those villages around that belong to the same kingdom. No, we are now connected globally, and not just because of the internet, but also because of relations that we have abroad. Like, if a country goes into injustice and mass slaughter, like they are doing now, like Israel is doing now, right? Of course they're gonna lose face and business partners. I'm not surprised that Colombia is no longer sending them coal. Like, what do you expect? Would a Hollywood studio offer a famous role to a rapist or something? They wouldn't, right? If your face gets destroyed, like you look ugly, like an ugly individual in the eyes of others. They don't want to have any business with you. You get cancelled. And they're being cancelled right now by their actions. They don't even care about their image they have abroad. Like, what do they expect? Some secret evil operation that nobody is seeing? We live in a global world. There are phones. You only need to film a couple of clips of some injustice being done by soldiers. It's over. You're exposed. This thing here exposes you, that phone. You just get filmed and then, oh. Like a couple of leaks on the internet, it's over. The eyes are everywhere of people. And they're digital eyes too. Of course they are cancelled. We have seen their true face, what they are doing to our poor brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah protect them and grant them victory. Ameen. This is sad. Palestine has a right to be an independent own country. They can't just come and grab the land. Like, what are those land grabs? What is this greed? And because of all that greed, they are suffering now. The average citizen is even unhappy with the government there. I've seen clips of people living in Israel, and they're actually complaining at their government. Like, some people want a change of government. Because what they are doing is horrible. Like, a lot of non-Muslims even, here in Germany, they are complaining. They're going on protest. They're saying peace for Palestine and stuff. They're holding shields up saying peace. So when is the peace coming finally? Like, yeah, Allah has exposed what's going on there. Like, Allah exposed Netanyahu. Like, what did he expect? Like, the individuals that cause corruption in this dunya, on this earth, they will always get exposed. Yeah, I really hope peace is coming soon, but yeah, it's not looking good for the economy. But this is, like they say, what you reap is what you sow, right? Like, you get back what you put out, right? So if someone is doing like a lot of evil actions, don't expect to not get the punishment. We even taught this as Muslims. If we do sins, we don't repent, we insist on doing the sins, we are getting punished in this dunya and the hereafter. So this is how it is. I really hope there's soon peace, and yeah, may Allah protect the Ummah. Ameen. And yeah, if you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. If you found this video informative, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time, inshallah.